Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with Ms.B. Today I will spend some time with you with a beautiful watercolors tutorial. This time we're going to do like a more of an abstract and whimsical design inspired by the seasons, inspired by color. Since I'm still recovering from my injury, from my, of my left hand, I cannot still do like coloring pencil tutorial and more specific drawing tutorials just because I still don't have the grip that I need to hold the pencil, but I can do very simple, nice and approachable design that then we can all paint together with watercolors. So instead to waste the time, I can give myself like a little practice and exercise, and at the same time, I can give you something to keep practicing and keep exploring the media of watercolor. Hopefully I will be able to go back to drawing and coloring pencil and markers very soon, because you know that I love to use a variety of media to give every one of you different experience, right? So to give you an exposure to different media, so you can then decide what is the one that you like the most, what is the one that you would like to exercise the most. If you're new to this channel, welcome. And this is a beautiful, safe, loving space that we are building together in an online, a very cold world. We are doing something super spontaneous, loving and inviting. So I invite you to subscribe if you want to support my channel and what I do a little more. You can become a member. I have very affordable membership, and I suggest you also to look below the videos so you can see some like products that are coming from my store. I recently opened a website, a store online. I suggest you to peruse it around. We had an amazing web designer who recently finished to design the site, so it's exactly as I wanted it to look. Very nice, clear, fresh, easy to navigate with all the information and the shop, with all products that are created with my handmade design. So there is like a true value in all the design that are featured in my products. So I suggest you to also peruse around that and let me know what do you think. Now for this practice, you need watercolor paper, a pencil and an eraser for erasing, just in case. Watercolors, any brand that you have available, and of course water and 1 or 2 brushes. I usually go with a small round brush, so it allows me to play with different sizes of area, bigger and smaller, and different details. Okay, remember to relax. This is a relaxing, expectation-free, stress-free, competition-free practice and place. I'm gonna switch the camera so we can start. Ciao. Okay, this is the paper, and I always kind of create this frame with masking tape. If you don't have masking tape available, you can skip it, but in this way you can hold the paper stable on the surface, so you don't have to take care of moving it around, and you can also kind of have a nice clean frame around the picture. I'm gonna use the pencil. I apologize, as I say, I cannot still hold it as I normally do, so there will be some imperfection in my design, and it is perfectly okay. I want to show myself vulnerable and human like we all are, right? So Valentine is coming, is getting close, and I truly love art regardless. I'm a big fan of Mexican art that is, feature a lot of beautiful, colorful art. So this is the inspiration for today. So we're going to point the pencil more or less in the center, and very slowly we're going to go up with a nice beautiful curve, and you can break the movement. You don't have to do one simple precise line, but you can break it up and bring it down. Most important thing is that you don't press hard with the pencil on the paper, so in case you need to erase, and also because you're going to paint with watercolor that has some transparency, you don't see that pencil super dark. And then we do the same on the other side. Now, mostly if you're a child, if you're a young artist or a beginner, or if you, like me, are struggling because you're recovering from an injury, the heart might not be perfectly symmetric, and it is totally okay. It's actually even more beautiful because it's going to give your heart a unique shape and personality. Now you see, it's pretty similar, but not the same. Maybe if you want, you can correct a little bit the line. I want it a little more puffy on this side too, so I have more heart to paint and decorate. So I'm going to come more like this. Voila. I'm going to raise a little bit more, and then I have my heart. Now we're gonna have fun with design outside and inside, so it will give us opportunity to create a colorful design. So I want to create a sort of a crown for this heart because love should be king. Only love, nothing else and no one else. Now I would like to add a beautiful, like a frame around, like a sort of a very simple curved lines. You do small arches and you keep going all the way along the perimeter of your heart. This is truly like a Mexican inspired Valentine art. And then we do the same on the other side. Now inside we're gonna do some beautiful design. Let's think something in the center, maybe a beautiful flower. Yes, let's create a flower. Doesn't have to be a realistic flower. I'm gonna go with the flow and see what happens. Maybe a sort of a rose. So I'm gonna start from the center. I'm gonna create this moon shaped and then the circle. And then I'm going to add another moon shape over here, petal on the back, and I'm gonna start to create some bigger petals and the bottom of them, another big petal and the bottom. The background, and then maybe a big one that comes over here, and then we can double and double to create some variation. We're gonna do a stem, so it looks a little dramatic. If you need to stop the video, pause it and recopy. Remember, I start from a moon shape, a circle, a little moon shape on the other side, a sort of an oval from the top. Then I'm gonna do two, let's call them drops, and then you connect the petals, and then I add these bean shaped petals on the side and these elephant ears petals, and I double the lines. Okay, so feel free to stop the video until you're done and then you continue. Now we're gonna add the beautiful leaves. So first the branch, and then we are going to create these nice big leaves, and we don't want to leave them like the lines, we're going to squiggle the lines a little bit to create some texture that will resemble the texture of the roses leaves. Perfect. Now let's have something over here and here. Interesting. What can we do? Oh, I'm gonna just kind of do some abstract design. So I'm going to follow this curve with another curve. I'm gonna bring in this case, and then I'm going to go back in, and then I'm gonna add the sort of leaves, and I close it. And let's try to do the same on the other side. Oh, I feel a little frustrated that I cannot hold my pencil as I wanted. Once again, they don't have to be perfectly symmetric. It is totally, totally fine. And then probably I would like to add maybe, let's see, a drop and a drop, or a little heart and a little heart. Let's go with a little heart and a little heart. Perfect. And I will double the frame around my heart. And please, if you want to add something more, something different, because maybe your design inside is smaller, feel free to do so. use the space. These are very like this Mexican inspired art should be pretty rich in the design. So don't worry, it has to look a little crowded. Now let's start the painting. I would do first the background, and honestly, I want to do a black background. I want to go very dark outside and then have something very, very, very colorful inside. I'm using a pretty good quantity of water, okay? So this black is truly like a very watery. So you need to pay attention when you go close to the heart, but remember, if something happens, this is the beauty of watercolors. Sometimes I would dip my brush only in the water and I will keep spreading the black that I already have on my paper, so the black it will actually turn into some dark gray. And because we can see the variation between more saturated and less saturated spot, it's going to be very nice and moody. Every time that you see that your brush is getting very dry, you're going to go grab more color, water, then color again, then water again, and then you go back to the paper and you start to do the spreading. And don't spread it too thin though, because we truly want to see, you see this area of high saturation. And when you go close to the design, of course, you will control it a little more. It's very nice. It's always like a surprise what will happen on the paper, right? Because we cannot control uh, too much the element of water. Of course, the more you master the media, and you see that I'm struggling just to paint inside the shape just because I cannot hold the brush as I would normally would, but it's okay. It's a good struggle because now I'm developing skills that I didn't have before. So there is always something positive, right? Out of something negative, a lesson to learn, skills to build, and psychological strength so we can move forward. And I'm not gonna still, stay home complaining and stop doing what I love to do. Of course, I need to be safe, but because I need my finger to heal, this is why I'm choosing watercolor practices that allows me to practice without overstimulating my fingers or damaging them while they're still healing. Now I'm going to drop only water and I'm going to spread this very, very moody, you see? I love it. Don't worry too much about the edges, mostly if you have masking tape. Go back to this side. We go back over here as well because it was lighter. Go around and then spread it out and grab some more. I truly love to see this dark black, expanding on the paper, framing the heart, creating this very moody background. Now a little bit more. When we see the brush strokes, grab some more of the watercolors. Make sure that you have enough water on your brush, and then you can go gently over to dark up that area, but also to blend it a little better. So we see this type of like puddles of water and not distinct um, brush strokes. Now we are not going to overdo it because sometimes we can damage the paper. Also, if this one is a pretty good watercolor paper quality, and we let it dry and rest while we rinse our brush very, very well, and we start to work from the inside to the outside. So for example, now I'm going to do the background of the heart, which is the space that is inside the heart, but doesn't include, of course, the rose, the two hearts, and these two swirls that we're gonna do it after. Of course, I'm gonna go for a dark, for a red, and I'm gonna use a little less water. I want a very, very, very bright and intense red, and I'm creating a beautiful creamy, consistent, like a creamy texture in my palette by using water and then scrub it gently with the brush, and then water again and scrub it gently. I don't want too much water like I wanted for the black, because in this case I want to make sure that I can control it and it doesn't bleed, the color doesn't bleed too much through other details, because I want those details to be in different colors. Okay, feel free to choose your own color. You don't have to copy my red. If you like another color, go for it. Just respect the technique, so you will be able to control the amount of color and to create a beautiful, nice, thick, and a little less transparent consistency inside your heart. Tiny little imperfections will occur, and it is totally fine. We embrace them as traits of personality, right? Like we do have traits of personality. Otherwise, we would be a copy of one another. How boring. So, we love all of our artistic creation and experiment as we love ourselves, embracing them as they come and enjoy the process, so we can truly, 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 truly gain a lot of benefit that are not only related in knowing a technique and having fine motor skills to execute the technique, that of course is part of the deal, but most of all in learning life lessons, emotional lessons, and spiritual lessons from the whole process. Once you think that your brush is too dry and sticky, you will go grab some water, pick some more color, create your creamy texture, and then use it. Now, because then I'm just realizing that having this heart so red, I cannot paint my rose the same red, or definitely any bright red. I need to figure something out. Maybe I can just uh, blend the red with more water and really reduce the saturation, so it's gonna still be red, but just a tint of red and not the pure color. Beautiful. I'm going to actually also try my best to go inside some of the shapes that I use to create this illusion, abstract illusion of the rose. So in my not desperation, but in my urgency to go back and painting and drawing, I also try to use my right hands, and I did some practices. So the funny thing is that I can do everything with my right hand. For example, I hold the fork to eat with my right hand. I would hold the scissors and cut with my right hand. I can do everything with my right hand except um, drawing, painting, and coloring. So, and I try and I say, nope, this is not going to work. Mostly when I work on small scale, I absolutely cannot use my right hand. It's fascinating. I'm pretty sure that if I keep exercising and exercising, I want to be able, we are able to do way more things that we think that we are able. But my goodness, it would be such an effort and so much time. When you see some inconsistency on the strokes, you can go back as we did for the black, just with less water. So we have this beautiful, a little thicker um, layer for our background. When we're filling in spaces and background and we have to go around the details, this is the moment that you truly, truly build very good fine motor skills, right? Because you have to proceed with care, with attention. You need to move your brush, therefore your hands in smaller spaces. It's very, very good. Water. And now you take a look, and everywhere you wanted to retouch, you will retouch by using the same technique. Need to finish these sides. And now I'm going to grab this red, the same red, but I want it to truly blend now with water. So I will have a way more water and just a tiny little bit of red to go inside my rose and give her a little bit of color. Don't worry if you still look dark, it's gonna light up. And if you want to do your rose in another color, feel free to do so. I'm gonna just set a little foundation. I'm gonna let it dry and then I will play around with some magenta and other color like that. Now, on my leaves, and we're gonna use a beautiful, nice, intense green. And here in this case, as we did for the background, we do want to see the water, but we also want to control it a little more. If it bleeds a little bit, let it bleed because it's beautiful. But overall, like try your best to follow the shapes of the stem and the leaves. Now I'm going to choose another green, still dark, but slightly less water. And then I'm going to paint the leaves that will show a little less saturation compared to the stem and a little more transparency. Voila. Now, let's go and paint our hearts. And I think I'm going to do a very hot pink for those. You know, in Mexican art, they're truly like a Mexican art, and mostly, you know, the heart that's really well known for their intense and colorful color palette. So that's the inspiration. So boom, hot pink, hot pink. And now I'm going to switch to a nice gold, for which I will um, blend together a light orange, very light yellow orange with a dark yellow to have it nice and thick. And once again, I'm not gonna use too much water here. I want it color very, very creamy so it can truly create a beautiful thick layers and really be visible, right? And highly saturated. Very nice. And let's go to the other one. A little bit of water, making a little bit more color. My water challenge, you cannot imagine to go with precision inside with this finger that is bothering me. After this practice, I'm gonna do some eyes for sure. Now, I will use the same gold for the crown. It just makes sense to me. And now I will actually go back to a pink, this hot pink, and I will use it to do the frame around the heart. As I always, you know, I like to use the same color more than one time in different locations on the surface, just because it creates a beautiful like dialogue between the color palette itself and the color, so it makes it more cohesive. I'm gonna probably actually start from the bottom and from this side. That is actually for me, because I cannot bend to this finger and I cannot hold the brush as I would normally do, is definitely the trickiest. So I'm gonna go first here. Make your color very creamy, regardless what color it is.